much going on around here. Super sleepy news night around these parts. Nothing doing, really. In addition to the breaking news we have been covering tonight that Special Counsel Robert Mueller gave Attorney General Bill Barr a piece of his mind for publicly misrepresenting Mueller's findings in his report. Just in the past 24 hours, the president and his 3 adult children and the Trump family business all sued 2 banks that they've done business with, including Deutsche Bank, to try to block these banks from handing over Trump-related financial information in response to congressional subpoenas. This follows a week after Trump also sued his own accounting firm, trying to stop them from replying to congressional subpoenas and handing over information about Trump's financial dealings and taxes. Here's one question that arises out of that fight. If Mr. Trump and his family and his business are concerned to the point of hyperventilating in a paper bag at the prospect of anybody getting a look at their finances and taxes, why are they not also suing the New York State Attorney General? New York Attorney General Letitia James is chasing a lot of the same stuff, or at least stuff along these same lines. It has been reported that she has subpoenaed Deutsche Bank about its relationship with Donald Trump. CNN has reported she's already receiving some of that material in response to that subpoena. And the Washington Post tonight reports that the New York Attorney General's office is also investigating serious alleged labor violations at Trump's golf club in Westchester, New York. She has also launched an investigation into the NRA, which apparently led the NRA to fire its lead lawyer. And then it led to the NRA's lead outside counsel warning that organization's entire board of directors that he believed Letitia James may dissolve the NRA. Dissolve them. She also brought a suit against the Trump administration over their efforts to put a citizenship question on the next census, which will lead to an undercount of Hispanics and immigrants. She's also fought them aggressively in the courts on the domestic gag rule, on abortion rights. I mean, I can understand why the president has begun to angrily about New York Attorney General Letitia James. So far, I am interested to see how this fight evolves from both sides. Joining us now for the interview tonight is Letitia James, Attorney General of the great state of New York. Madam Attorney General, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, I know that some of the stuff that I've talked about here, ongoing investigations, you're not necessarily at liberty to talk about them. I hope you will forgive me for asking anyway. But I did actually want to get your reaction tonight, just as a law enforcement official. In relation to this breaking news that we're covering about the special counsel's report and this reporting that the special counsel himself has expressed anger to the Attorney General about the mischaracterization of his findings.
It truly was a mischaracterization. He misled the public and he misled Congress. And it's really critically important that, unfortunately, he stepped outside of his boundary. And he should not have interpreted the Mueller report. He should have just issued it to the Congress and its executive summaries, and that was it. Instead, he went a bit further, and he basically attempted to exonerate President Trump. And as a result of that, he should be held responsible, and he should go before Congress, I hope not only tomorrow, but also on Thursday, and present himself and answer those questions. In addition to that, I would hope that Mr. Mueller also testify before Congress as well. It's really critically important that we hear from him. I understand that he's very angry, and this letter obviously really speaks to the fact that Mr. Barr was serving as the President's counsel and not the People's counsel.
You are in a unique position as the top law enforcement official in New York State, given the jurisdiction of your office and the powers of your office. We have seen congressional committees pursue things related to the president's finances and taxes in the wake of Mueller's report. That it does not seem that Mueller made that a central element of his investigation. You have been reported to also have pursued some of these lines of inquiry, particularly after Michael Cohen, the president's longtime lawyer, suggested in sworn testimony that the president had inflated his assets for the purpose of obtaining bank loans or trying to obtain bank loans. Can you tell us anything about your office and its investigation along those lines?
So what I can tell you, Rachel, and obviously we do not want to jeopardize any investigation. Look, I can tell you that we have commenced an investigation into Trump's finances, and it's based on the testimony of Mr. Michael Cohen. And as a result of that, we have issued subpoenas to certain banks. And we are in the process of discovery. And that is about all that I can tell you without jeopardizing that investigation.
And I understand if you can't answer this, but can you tell me if Michael Cohen has cooperated with your office or with other New York state law enforcement, and can you tell me if the banks are cooperating with the subpoenas?
So I can tell you this, the media has reported that Mr. Cohen has been to our office, and I can also report to you that we have received some information from some of the entities that have been previously mentioned.
Okay. The president is suing Deutsche Bank and his accounting firm Mazars, as well as other entities, to try to stop them from replying to congressional subpoenas. Have you had those same kind of fights in terms of your investigation?
Unfortunately, as of right now, they are not seeking to quash our subpoenas.
Okay. The NRA investigation, which you have publicly confirmed, on Friday, you announced that your office is investigating the NRA in terms of its incorporation under New York law and alleged financial mismanagement of that organization, its assets and its donations. The NRA appears to be quite afraid of what you are capable of doing as New York's top law enforcement official. As I mentioned, they fired their lead lawyer. Their outside counsel is reported to have warned the board that you have the power to dissolve them as an organization if your investigation merits that. Is he right to believe that's within your powers?
So let me just say, I can't speak to the remedies that we are seeking. At this point in time, as you know, we have commenced an investigation into the NRA. We have issued letters basically requiring certain entities to retain documents and communication. And some of those entities have received subpoenas. It's really critically important that the NRA follow the law, just like any other charitable organization in the state of New York. And until such time as we review the information that we receive, we cannot lay out our case, and we cannot speak to the remedies that we are seeking.
This is being pursued as a civil matter or as a criminal matter?
It's a civil matter. It's
a civil matter. At this point, again, public reporting that the Department of Financial Services in New York, another law enforcement entity in New York, has also pursued the president's insurance broker. Again, in response to Michael Cohen's testimony saying that there may have been, he alleged that there may have been asset inflation in order to basically affect insurance rates, which would be insurance fraud. Is that also being pursued as a civil matter? Is that something that could potentially be referred to you as a criminal matter if the Department of Financial Services finds evidence of wrongdoing there?
Yes, we've not received a referral as of yet, but our investigations for the most part are civil in nature.
Okay. Letitia James, Attorney General of New York, you have a lot on your plate.
I do.
And I hope that you'll come back again and keep us apprised. I know a lot of these things, as they're ongoing, you can't give us details, but I think it's important that the country understand the national implications of a lot of what you're working on.
But I also think it's important that you continue to remain in our homes every night. It's really critically important that we have a free press and an independent press, and it's really critically important that I, as the Attorney General of the state of New York, stand up for your right and oppose any effort to suppress your First Amendment right.
Madam Attorney General, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Hope you come back soon.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.